Could Peyton Watson join Milwaukee in surprise move? In the NBA, August is typically the time for front offices to rest before beginning the evaluation process of a new season, as teams begin to get back together for unofficial minicamps and pick up runs in September before training camps get underway. The changing economics surrounding roster building and a more prolonged negotiation period for restricted free agents in recent offseasons has altered that, however. Instead of taking time away from their cap sheet's content, in knowing their work for the upcoming season is complete, NBA decision-makers have been forced to stay close to their phones and monitor contract situations of players around the league. Advertisement, for example, Bucks general manager Jon Horst currently has 17 players on NBA contracts for the team's 15-man roster next season. Point guard, Ryan Rollins, Kevin Porter Jr., Brayden Burries shooting guard, Tyler Herro, AJ Green, Gary Trent Jr., Kasparas Jakučionis, Caris LeVert small forward, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Ousmane Dieng. Ament power forward, Kuzma, Bogoljub Marković, Nance center. Myles Turner, Kel'el Ware, Jericho Sims. With roughly 2 months until the Bucks return to the floor in the preseason, let's take a look at the 3 biggest remaining offseason questions.
Fruit flies taking over your kitchen? This discreet plug-in trap uses light to attract flying insects, then captures them on a replaceable adhesive cartridge, without noisy zapping or messy sprays. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/1 right now.
Factoring into Peyton Watson's market, when Horst spoke with reporters following the trade of Giannis Antetokounmpo, he laid out how the Bucks would have to approach building a roster in their new era. "I think being super aggressive and diligent at the same time in exploring opportunities and learning about the team," Horst said last month. Obviously, a big transition not only on the floor but off the floor. It's a big transition for the franchise. And so, that's not a call to just sit and do nothing, but it's definitely a call to be patient and be diligent and make sure that the things that we do are the right things at the right time. The restricted free agency of Denver Nuggets forward Peyton Watson perfectly illustrates the vision Horst laid out for the organization moving forward. As we've reported at The Athletic, the Bucks remain interested in acquiring Watson in potential sign-and-trade scenarios with the Nuggets. League sources with knowledge of the situation who were granted anonymity to speak candidly about ongoing deliberations have told The Athletic that the Atlanta Hawks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and LA Clippers also remain intrigued by the prospect of adding Watson. But while the Bucks are interested in the 23-year-old forward, league sources maintain they expect the Bucks to be hesitant to include a first-round pick in any deal for Watson as they continue building out their asset base post-Antetokounmpo. Without giving up a first-round pick, the Nuggets would have to derive much of the value of a sign-and-trade with the Bucks from the player or players involved in the deal. While other teams interested in Watson might be giving up fringe rotation players with a first-rounder, the Bucks might need to include real rotation players to entice the Nuggets to consider their offer. Advertisement Jaquez could be an interesting target for Denver, as he proved to be a capable rotation player in his first 3 NBA seasons with the Miami Heat. The 25-year-old will make just $5.9 million next season, but he would ultimately need to be extended because next season is the final year of his rookie contract. The mechanics of a deal including Jaquez, however, could get complicated considering the Bucks' $25.5 million trade exception and the potential difficulty of finding a contract for Watson while being hard-capped at the first apron. Ultimately, the Nuggets still have almost 2 months to figure out what path they want to choose with Watson before the 2026-27 season starts, and if they don't find a trade partner, Watson could just sign the qualifying offer to enter unrestricted free agency next summer. Fixing their roster imbalance while there is still time, considering Horst doesn't need to make a final decision until opening night, he will have to trim 2 players off the Bucks roster. One of those decisions could be relatively easy, as the Bucks could cut Nance and his non-guaranteed contract. Without Nance, Milwaukee would have 16 players making $165.8 million and $22 million in dead money. Waive-in stretches of Damian Lillard and Vasilij Micic on their books, leaving them roughly $13 million away from next season's luxury tax line of $200.4 million. In an ideal world, the Bucks would find a trade either for a pick or an unbalanced deal, like a 2-for-1, to a team with an open roster spot, and avoid cutting a player for nothing. But that might end up being their only option if Horst cannot find what he deems a suitable move. Beyond removing 2 extra players, the roster will test Taylor Jenkins' ability to find enough playing time for all the players the organization wants to contribute next season. One look at the depth chart shows the Bucks are overloaded at each position, specifically at the 2-guard spot. Advertisement last season, to get both Rollins and Porter as much playing time as possible, former head coach Doc Rivers would play them together. That will hypothetically be far more difficult this season with Herro on the roster and Green, entering his 5th year in the NBA, expecting to take another step forward. With 96 minutes to fill between the 2 positions, the Bucks don't have enough playing time for those 4 players to average 25 minutes per game. And that's before they took Burries, one of the breakout players of NBA Summer League and the 10th pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, and also grabbed Jakučionis, still just 20 years old, in the Antetokounmpo trade. On top of that, the Bucks signed Trent to a 4-year, $64 million contract. Overall, they simply have too many guards for the amount of minutes available at those 2 positions. Finding the right approach to this season, the roster imbalance question points to a larger philosophical quandary for the Bucks to solve. Horst has pointed to trying to build the Bucks back into a sustainable winner, and that is a logical and easy end goal to chase. But with the wide variety of players on the roster, it will be up to the organization to dictate what gets done this season. In this instance, Herro serves as a great example. The 26-year-old shooting guard is currently extension eligible. He has averaged 20 points in each of the last 5 seasons, and he scored those points relatively efficiently. Theoretically, Herro could take a good bit of pressure off the Bucks' younger playmakers and help the team play better basketball to start the season. But ultimately, will he be of more value to the franchise as a member for years to come, or a player the Bucks flip to another team for more assets in the middle of the season? If the answer is flipping Herro to another team, how many playmaking scoring reps are the Bucks willing to take from other players before they move him elsewhere? Advertisement, these are the questions Jenkins will have to spend the season navigating as coach, and Horst must answer as general manager. The same questions will be posed by the presence of the rest of the roster veterans, Kuzma, Porter, Turner, Trent, at the start of the season. To maximize this roster, the organization will need a cohesive plan that can handle moving in different directions with different players throughout the season as they work together to chart the best path forward.